And away we go. Welcome back. It is the newest addition to the BCJ family, the Brendel Breakdown, where we take a look at UC basketball. We break down some film. We talk about what's happened in previous games, and we take a look at upcoming opponents. Great time to start it because Saturday night, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Saturday night. Be ready. The Bearcats head to Provo to take on BYU, and I am honored to have a partner for this show because I am not smart enough to do it myself. I'm honored to welcome in Chris LePore. Chris, you are going to be our expert in these scenarios and giving all the inside trade secrets of Bearcat basketball.
All right, let's do it, man. Appreciate you having me.
How's life? We've missed you this year.
I know, man. I miss you guys too. Obviously, it's the people you miss more than anything. But being here in Louisville around family, first time my wife and I have really been immersed in family, and we're happy to be here. But obviously, miss my Bearcats, and we'll be up often.
You see, Cincinnati has a better zoo.
Oh, no question.
But I'm sure you have a membership down there now.
Oh, absolutely. You know that goes without saying. Not the same without Fiona and Fritz. Children's Museum is also better in Cincinnati. So we got some work to do here.
You got some improvements to make. It's fine.
Yeah.
They spend all their money on a basketball arena. No, we're not going to get into that. Has there been a hole, or are you civilian life now? Are you like, look, I got lunch break and I got scheduled vacations, and I'm okay with where I'm at.
It is definitely took a little adjusting to, but it is very nice having the evenings and weekends to be with the family. We do have a vacation scheduled for actually a week from today. We'll be leaving for Puerto Rico for a little family reunion out there. So that will be nice.
Done that last year.
Little change of pace going on vacation in the winter. But I've definitely been energized recently as we opened up our camp registration. Wes and I are still partnering with the summer camp. Got up to the game for camper night for the Evansville game, which we're going to take a look at here in a second. So yeah,
it was good to see you again, and we miss having you around. Could you imagine if you'd have gone to Wes, like, hey, I know conference play just started, but we're going to go to Puerto Rico with the fam for a week, and then I'll be back. Like I'm coming back, but
I'll do the scout remote.
All right, let's get into it. We are going to take a look back at Evansville, and this should be a pretty easy assignment for you. As I said, Chris, find me some stuff to show the fans why the defense didn't work in the first half, and then why it did work in the second half. So I'm sure you've added your own flair to this, but that was the general principle in terms of getting people to understand some of what is happening when this defense has not played well and what needs to be done to get it, back at that really high level.
Yeah, for sure. I was excited you gave me a defense assignment first. Over the years,
I'm a Mick Cronin guy, right? Like, come
on. Yeah, absolutely. Over the years with Wes, especially when we were a full court press team, defense was my obsession all the time. So this was fun for me to dive in there. Gonna take a look first at post defense. Evansville is, one of their go-tos is throwing the ball in the post. So it's always interesting for me looking at a possession coming out of the media timeout. So the under 4 media here, you can tell we have a little energy for defense here. We've got some pop, we've got some high hands. We're closing out to the ball. See, great job by Odie there, hanging and help just for a second to give Jizzle time to get in front of the post player. They're obviously trying to throw the ball in here. It's a scripted play. Now Jizzle's job, even though he's, guarding a bigger player here, is number one, best case scenario, don't let him catch the ball. He's doing a great job there with his 3-quarter post defense. If they throw it in the post, it's going to be at 12 to 15 feet. Great job here by Jizzle to push that catch out and not let it go in there. A little ball pressure by Victor will help make it hard to go in the post as well. Now they're not giving up on throwing it in the post. They kind of relocate, throw it back in. Again, good job by Jizzle get the catch at about 18 feet, right? Now, principles, once the ball goes in the post, you should see all 4 guys without the ball kind of jump towards it a little bit. And so you see kind of, John and Dan and Odie kind of take a step towards the ball. We really teach that you should give a little more than you normally would and help when the ball goes in the post. Jizzle's job is just to make sure this ball doesn't get to the middle, doesn't get to the front of the rim. Obviously, this is something that they'll break down and practice every other day, probably. One-on-one post defense, team post defense, a concept that Wes will really harp hard on. So pretty good by Jizzle up to this point. Hadn't let him get to the middle, spinning back baseline where we should have more help. Would like everybody else to get off to the ball a little bit more. And ultimately, the ball gets to the middle, gets right to the teeth of the defense, and that's an easy basket. So in that case, can't let the ball get middle and need a little more help from the guys off the ball, not to go double team the ball, but just to give a little more activity so that they're not seeing so much space in the middle of the paint. So now we'll watch it. Watch it back here. Great 3-quarter by Jizzle. Exactly where you want that catch to be. Just need to give a little more, 4 guys off the ball, a little more activity. That's what we call it. Want to be active off the ball. All right, similar possession here. They're actually running almost the same play to try to throw it in the post. Not there. Look for their back door. This time it's one-on-one. Dan Skillings against a bigger guy. All right. Again, same principles apply. Love where Day-Day's at right now. Victor's off to the ball. CMOS is off to the ball. Dan's just got to make sure this ball doesn't get to the middle. Would like maybe a little bit more, kind of faking at the ball from Day-Day there to make this guy think about it and want to turn him baseline. But again, gets right to the teeth of the defense. Not a lot of help. That's why we're trying to keep the ball out of the middle. So again, watching this one back, Evansville very much predicated on set offense, set plays, trying to get the ball into their best players' hands. Not great defense there. Went down 10 at that point.
They love that step back jumper. They hit that over and over again for the first 22 minutes of the game.
He's a good little player. Actually, I caught Evansville's game at Bellarmine a couple weeks back, and I was impressed with what I saw. All right, little comeback mounting. Just made a 3. Another post defense clip here. Day-Day giving good ball pressure all the way out to half court. Dan doing a great job. We call this blowing up the screen. Okay, anytime there's a dribble for a handoff, we want to blow that up so that it's not even available, not even an option. Great job by Dan there. That'll be good in his grading. But again, post D clip here. Ball goes into the post. Again, you should immediately see everybody jump towards the ball. What Day-Day and Victor do there is pretty good. We got to get Dan and CMOS off to the ball a little bit more. But John Newman shows you how it's done here. You got to think about it as your one-on-one when you're guarding the ball in the post. Everybody else should be providing support, but ultimately you've got to be responsible for not letting this ball get to the middle, not giving a clean look at the rim. So John does a great job using his body, cutting him off before he gets to the paint, going middle, and then a turnaround fadeaway over his left shoulder towards the baseline. We will live with that all day. John Newman, great deflection on the play. We're starting the fast break going the other way. Good defense there.
This is important because the teams see on tape that they can isolate you and just go one-on-one, especially in the Big 12, where there's going to be skilled 3s and 4s that have size. If you put this on tape against Evansville, that you can't stop it, clear out isolation, we know we're going to get a bucket most of the time.
No doubt. And truth be told, there aren't a lot of pound it inside. We want to score in the post first and foremost teams out there. So double teaming the post is more of an adjustment than your initial game plan, unless you're playing against somebody like a Hunter Dickinson, who's,
Sure.
somebody that's an absolute dominant force. But yeah, if you're struggling to guard the post one-on-one, then yeah, you're gonna have to look at those adjustments, or else you're in trouble. And again, a lot of these, what makes Evansville unique is you're not seeing Victor, Jamil, or Odie getting back down in these
Right.
clips. They're using their wings and their guards, which is a little different. All right, so ball screen D here to start the clip. CMOS goes over the top. Good support there by Day Day to make him get off the ball. 2 is not a shooter, 25% 3-point shooter, so we're okay with the late closeout. Ball drives baseline. Again, this is where all the help is supposed to be. So on this drive, would love for John to stop there and kind of cut this off. But good by Dan, good by Day Day to send the ball to the baseline, keep the ball at the middle. And then here we go again. Post defense, right? Now, last time we were in this scenario with Dan, he got to the middle of the floor, got a basket. CMOS does a great job reading the situation. Everybody else is ready to rotate behind him. They go in double, get in a scramble situation. Ball comes out. Now, this is a huge thing. Anytime the ball comes out of a double team, everybody's got to sprint off. You no longer have your assigned man. Sprint off and get matched. Just figure it out. So the ball comes out of the double team. Victor controls the ball. CMOS is sprinting off as fast as he can. Deflection, fast break starting the other way. So you can see the adjustments in the post defense. Obviously, this was something that was coached during the timeouts, during halftime, and they were ready for it. All right. Talking about guarding the ball, not allowing it to go middle. Again, this is one of those dribble handoff situations, right? Get a nice deflection on the ball there. We look ready to play on this possession. We're pressuring the ball out beyond the 3-point line. Looks good. We get a big-to-big ball screen. Should be an automatic switch. Jamil jumps up, calls the switch. We're in good shape. All right, now, when you're in a one-on-one spread opportunity, rule is obviously you want to keep the ball in front. But if you're going to get beat one way, you see where the help is. John Newman sending the ball to the baseline, to the sideline is where your help is here. Ball gets to the middle right now. It's a lot of open space. We're 2 gaps away, 3 gaps away. Going to be hard to help the drive. So we really want to try to keep the ball out of the middle. You see here, you get to the middle of the floor, there's just options, right? He could maybe shoot that little step back. He could move the ball, set a screen, lots of room to cut, and it puts a lot of pressure on the guys, in that gap defense. You're not sure if you're supposed to be helping, denying. Really got to keep the ball out of the middle. So Evansville scores a lot of their points in the post, a lot of their points in their little 5-out backdoor cut scheme, and got us there. Similar clip here. They get to their dribble handoff, ball screen, good ball screen defense there by Josh. A little bit of a late switch. Would like him to call switch now. Switch, jump up high. Tell CMOS to get back to his. Anyways, we're in good shape. Similar situation. CMOS has got to guard the ball, keep it from getting downhill to the middle of the floor. Dan's doing a good job, 1 pass away. Maybe beat by half a step there. Looks like could maybe be a layup. But again, decent ball pressure by CMOS. And then watch Jamil here. This is one of those situations where if you're in your heels, this is probably a layup or a dunk. But if you're active and alert, can make a play on the ball, start the fast break going the other way. That'll take us through the defense segment there. You on mute there, Chad?
Yeah, the dog's barking. Sorry.
This is my first time, man. I'm calling you out on mute. Come on now.
I mean, that's fine. Unless you want to hear dogs barking and growling right next to me. Like I said, I told you this before the show. They slept all morning. Like, they were conked out all the way until like 5 minutes before we started recording this show. And then they were like, oh, Dad put his headset on. Let's get rowdy. So they're rowdy right now. But a lot of that just basic defensive principles that at times this team has not all been on the same page yet. And it's as simple as, like you're pointing out, if this guy slides over 6 inches to where he's supposed to be, then that path to the middle is cut off, or that cut
Right.
baseline, there's somebody ready for it. They did a terrible job of it in the first half against Evansville. But in the second half, they learned and figured out what Evansville was trying to attack, how they were trying to play. And then you hold them to 18 second half points. Like, the problem being, Chris, in the Big 12, you do not have 20 minutes to figure out what they're trying to do to you and then go into your locker room and reconvene. These guys are going to have to lock in a little bit better in the first half on what's happening.
Sure, no doubt about it. And we're going to talk about BYU here in a second. They're the pulling from the Just Play stats. They're the number 6 offense in the country. They 50% of their shots are from 3, so it'll be a much different game than they played against Cincinnati played against Evansville. They are going to shoot the ball from 3 50% of the time,
and make 50% of the 40% of the threes.
Yeah, they're top 25 in percentage as well. So 38% from 3. They're a really, really good offensive team. They offensive rebound. They're top 15 in the country in offensive rebounds. They're top 15 in the country in turnover percentage, so they don't really turn it over. Effective field goal percentage, top 10 in the country. So it's a really good team. Almost 2/3 of their points are assisted.
Right. That's what I was. They are not a team that beats you off the bounce. They are a team that beats you with ball movement.
Yeah, they really share the ball well. It's a good team. It's a good team. Be a good test.
Here's a statistical. It's not statistical. I guess it is technically, but generally the ball moves faster via the pass than it does via the dribble. So it's harder for your defense to be in the right place at the right time. If the ball starts pinging, Cincinnati's got a problem Saturday night.
No doubt. And I think, when we look at an opponent like that who moves the ball really well and, relies heavily on ball movement and pace, the DNA of Wes's defense is, well, we try to bang some of that stuff up, take some of that stuff away. And instead of plays and plays and plays, hopefully, it turns into breakdown offense. And they're out of their sets, they're out of their comfort zone, and that aggressive Cincinnati defense can do its thing. So we will see on that.
You want to force them to beat you off. You want to force them to beat you off the bounce, essentially,
absolutely,
because that's not where they're comfortable.
No doubt.
Sorry, go ahead.
Did you want to jump into a couple of BYU clips? All right,
absolutely. You can plug Just Play for a second if you want.
Yeah, shout out to Just Play. Thanks for providing us with all the statistical analysis we need. When I was at UC, we switched to their platform and made a world of difference for me. So as the one
what you did there
involved in all the scouting and oh, sorry, did that not work?
No, there was a thing on the bottom.
That was.
This is pull that up for you. It's great podcasting.
Podcast etiquette. I got to tighten up on that.
Yeah, no dead air. That's the industry standard. No dead air.
All right, here we go. Let me know if this looks better for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Notice that this game is 25-10, 10 minutes into the game.
Yes, they jump on people early, which they are notorious for.
Did you close it out? See, this is what happens when you start to talk smack, LePore. You start talking a little smack, and then you send yourself sideways. You got to stay focused, stay in the game plan. First time jitters. It's okay. We'll let it go this time. Here we go.
All right. Yeah. There you go. All right. Again, to your point, these guys can score the ball. 43 points in the first half.
No, that's actually Utah. That was they got beat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. chose clips from the game they got beat, actually. And I was amazed by the attendance of this game, by the way. This is absolutely incredible. All
Those
right,
two schools don't like each other.
Jackson Robinson, leading scorer for them, has the ball here, number 2. We're going to see a lot of early ball screens from BYU. Again, they play at a pretty steady pace, kind of middle of the pack in the country in terms of pace. But there's going to be a lot of early ball screens. You see Utah here. They get clipped by the screen. Big man not really sure whether to stay, go, get back to his man. And number 2 is the guy, Jackson Robinson, that can really score it in all kinds of ways for them. He's their leading scorer. They'll run sets for him. They'll run hitters, trying to get the ball in his hand and basically just let him go bombs away. He can do it off the bounce. He can do it off the catch. Pretty impressed diving into his film. Again, we saw they were down, 14, 15 points, end of the first half, came back, made it a game.
I mean, on that 3, if you're Utah, there's nothing you can do differently.
No, played
you made
great
him uncomfortable. You got him out in 25, 30 foot range, and he still just jumps up and bangs one on you.
Yep, played great defense. Again, a lot of handoffs in their motion. So a lot of people will refer to this as like a 5-out dribble handoff action. So we're going to see a lot of spread ball screens, a lot of 5-out dribble handoff action against BYU. And a lot of times it's going to be Jackson coming off looking to fire. Got his switch here. Okay, he's got they switch the ball screen. 5-man's guarding him. He's like, let me move it and get this thing back. And then, at some point this is going up. Pretty good defense there by the 5-man to force a contested shot in a pivotal point of the game. He'll handle the ball after a missed basket if he gets the rebound. But again, there's a lot to his game. I pulled about 20 different clips. We don't need to go through them all. But he's the guy, averaging 16 a game, shooting it well from 3, shoots over 30% of the team's shots. So his usage percentage is really high. And that'll be a matchup to look out for.
You would think Day and Jizzle, okay, welcome to the Big 12. Like, here you go. This guy, I mean, and I'm sure there'll be different combinations of guys on him, but he's the guy with the ball in his hand primarily. You would think you'll see a lot of those 2-point guards. No pressure in your first game, just a guy that, puts up 17 a game and runs one of the elite offenses in the country.
Yeah, no doubt. And they essentially will run 4 guards out there. There's possessions where it looks like Robinson's at the 4. There's possessions where it looks like he's at the 2 or the wing. And then obviously there's possessions where he's at the point guard. So he's a dynamic offensive player. And, they have other guys that, they would consider more their point guard, number 20 Johnson, number 30 Hall, who have really, really high assist rates. But he's the most dynamic guy within their offense. Now, that being said, they've got 4 guys looking at these just play stats here. 4 guys that shoot a ton of threes for him are all shooting over 40%.
Right.
So they can really shoot that ball.
Do you think Newman is a guy that could handle him, or at least be given some of that responsibility?
Yeah, I think he's probably the guy you give the assignment to, coming out of the gates.
All right. Got anything else on BYU?
That's it, man. Should be fun. Right. I'm gonna have to, drink a couple extra Mountain Dews to stay up and watch that one. 10 o'clock.
Maybe a little once the kids go to bed, you get a little hour power nap in. Or if you do that, you're gonna wake up in the morning.
if I do, as soon as my head hits the pillow, it's over with, man. But thanks. This was fun. Looked like we stayed inside our 25-minute time.
Now you've got an understanding of what works and what we need, and
I'll have my screen sharing tightened up for the next time. But this was fun. We'll have to record one before I leave for Puerto Rico next week. So
Yeah, we'll get one in. When are you leaving?
A week from today.
A week from today. So we'll get one in.
Yeah.
What do we? Well,
Yeah, need
what
to get
Tuesday
work
is?
on the tan, man.
Tuesday is the Texas game. So we might
Nice.
have to try to crack one Wednesday before you get ready for your week in paradise.
That sounds good to me, man. Let's do it.
All right. It was good stuff. We appreciate it. And I can't wait to get this thing cracking every week. I hope everybody liked it. It is now a regular segment, Brendel's Breakdown, featuring Chris LePore. We'll see everybody next time right here on BearcatJournal.com.